Episode 16, and for each episode of the Peterborough podcast, for as long as it takes, we talk about things going on in and around our city of Peterborough. So from politics to posh, if it's in the news, we will talk about it. And we're honest, we're relevant, we're positive, and we don't ever slag the city off. We leave that for others. On the show today, what we got?
Lots of topics today, including a reflection on a year of our university, ARU Peterborough. I'm going to have a quick chat about the council's budget simulator, an update on the Great Eastern Run, Peterborough in the Bake Off, and a chat with Woodstone in Bloom and how to transform our communities.
Okay, nice menu there, nice list. Talking of the Great Eastern Run,
yes,
you are wearing a Great Eastern Run t-shirt today.
Mm-hmm.
And I
look good in it, don't I?
I have an issue. Well, you do look good in it, actually, because you can be seen from the moon.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind the colour, luminous green.
I didn't choose it.
And
yeah, it's handed out. Have you ever done the Great Eastern Run, Kevin?
Yeah, many times. Every year.
Every year.
Every year I've hosted it.
Every year you've hosted it.
I may have missed one.
Right.
The thing
have you ever run it?
I can't run it because I'm hosting it. I'm warming up the runners and making important announcements.
That's convenient. Okay.
It says 2017 on it.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you wearing a 6-year-old Great Eastern Run t-shirt?
Well, 6-year-old clothes fit me.
Good answer.
Yeah, and more to the point, it's the last time I did it. I've done it 3 times. 2011, 2013, 2017.
So you've only just got your breath back.
Can I just also make the excuse that obviously, my time at the council, I work it as well. So I do the work, some of the administration and around it. I'm doing the 5K this year, the Anna's Hope 5K.
I thought you were doing the half marathon.
No. Doing the 5K. The reason being that my little daughter's doing it with me, 9-year-old daughter. Really looking forward to that. There might be an announcement about the Great Eastern Run.
Well, let's not go on the announcement, because by the time this podcast gets published, there's probably news coming out about the sponsors of it. So we'll have to park that one and come back.
Okay. I just thought I'd put it out as a taster. But all I will say is that I'm really looking forward to doing it again. It does actually come past our house on Broadway. So my mum,
if you can't beat them, join them.
My mum and my dog will be out there waiting for me. I'm looking forward to it. We've been doing a little bit of not training so much because it's 5K. I'm hoping I should be able to do it. And as we're recording now, I'm doing a park run tomorrow morning in Bolton.
In Bolton?
Yeah.
Bolton Park.
Well, it's Posh Bolton this weekend, and we're going to that. So
again, by the time people are listening to this, the Posh Bolton game would have been long gone.
But I will still have done it.
That's where you're doing your run.
I will still have done it.
The Great Eastern Run is a massive event in Peterborough, the half marathon and the Anna's Hope 5K fun run. The date of it is the 15th of October. It's a Sunday. Loads and loads and loads of different charities will benefit from lots of different people fundraising, and it's a great event. Last year, I would say it was very successful. There were teething issues with certain elements of it, but the organisers, we've had them on a podcast here, for Aaron from Good Running Events. They are promising us that they are working on sorting those teething issues from last year, the start, certain bits of the organisation, the stewarding, etc. And all being well, fingers crossed, this event will run seamlessly this year.
I spoke to Aaron this week, very excited about the fact that it finishes going past the cathedral, of course, for the first time.
Yeah, I think having the cathedral grounds along the route is a great shout, and all of those runners are going to absolutely love that element of it. Anyway, that's the Great Eastern Run. We did want to mention ARU Peterborough, the city's university. I didn't realise that they had been shortlisted for something pretty special.
The prestigious the University of the Year Awards.
How can they be shortlisted for the University of the Year Awards?
22.
Bearing in mind, they are literally like a baby.
Yeah, because it's part overall of Anglia Ruskin University, which of course has other bases and campuses as well. So it's because I know that Peterborough was part of that, because they've started so well, because they're growing. And it's a great achievement for them, It's just as an example, ARU's progress in growing the range, quality and impact of its research was recognised by its best ever ranking in the Research Excellence Framework 2021. There are partnerships with 8 police forces through ARU. There is lots going on, and it's a real achievement. The Vice Chancellor, Roderick Watkins, said ARU Peterborough is a perfect example of our mission to serve our region and transform lives through innovative, inclusive and entrepreneurial education and research. And it's providing the skills that local employers need, and lots of opportunities for our younger people. And of course, it's growing as well. It's a really exciting thing and a real coup for them. The Times Higher Education Supplement has recognised them with these nominations, so we'll find out.
We congratulate Ross Renton on the nomination and all of his team.
And he's a great guy as well. We've spoken to him lots of times, both of us.
I can kind of add something to this conversation. So one of my Facebook friends is called Sarah, and Sarah's children went to school with my children, so similar age. And one of Sarah's sons, Finn, has suddenly hit university age, a bit like my daughter has hit university age. And while my daughter's gone to uni, she's gone to London, she's studying drama actually. I saw a Facebook post from Sarah which kind of ties into how great this university is, not just for outsiders coming into Peterborough, but actually for some young Peterborough people that don't want to end up leaving home to go off to uni. There's a great uni where they live.
Yeah.
So they can. So this is Sarah, and this is a mum post about her son Finn hitting uni age. She wrote, "No shopping for student living essentials, no loaded up car, no leaving him to settle in whilst you walk away in tears, no maintenance grant debt. Finn, like many others, began his uni journey today, but chose to stay at home to do it, at least for his first year. Peterborough has not got so much going for it in some ways, according to some, but Finn has always liked his home comforts, and he's glad to be studying at uni in his own city." And then it goes on, which I thought was a really interesting post. You don't have to go to Nottingham, to Birmingham, to Manchester, to Reading, to Bristol, to Leicester, wherever. We have a great university. You've now told me today that it's been shortlisted for an award for being a brilliant university. How fantastic is that? Yeah. And honestly, I'm sick of reading, and I've read a lot in recent weeks, of people knocking our city, slagging off this, slagging off that. Oh, you don't want this, you don't want that. Just negativity, any which way you turn.
Well,
So I love the fact that we're able to shout today, and I'll shut up in a minute. Sorry. I love the fact that we're able to shout out this morning, today, as we record, how great our university is. It's been recognised as being great. It's still very young in its development, but it's expanding. It's getting bigger and bigger. And better and better, and for the fact that there's this Peterborough mum that's delighted that her son can live at home and still be at uni has got to be a great thing.
Well, it's literally been nominated for the University of the Year, and you can't get a higher accolade than that. It might have taken a long time to come here, but it's there and it's serving a purpose. We know that there is a need, for STEM subjects to be studied in this region, in this area. And it serves a purpose. It will only grow. It will become, a real landscape figure in Peterborough. And
in years to come, that whole university building will be synonymous with the city.
Exactly. Some would argue that it is already on that way. And you see the students. I drive past there quite often, and you see the students. They're very welcoming to any visitors. It's a brilliant complex when you go there and you look round. It looks so fresh and vibrant, and that is not something that you often say about Peterborough. You've just mentioned that there. You don't hear that. Oh, isn't it fresh? Isn't it bright? Isn't it innovative? We've said before that people often have this negative outlook about Peterborough. Well, that is part of the fight back. For those attitudes.
100% agree. Okay, let's move on. So we've acknowledged this university award nomination.
Yep.
How can I was going to try and link it seamlessly and to say, has the Peterborough City Council budget simulator received any kind of nominations for an award? Probably not, but it's a thing. It's on people's agendas at the moment. What is the budget simulator, and why has it been created?
Well, it was first created last year, so this is the second year of it. Essentially, if you go onto the Peterborough City Council website, it is a tool that lets you set the budget, set the council's budget. Now, there is a budget gap predicted of £5.1 million in the medium-term financial strategy for the next financial year. That's a lot of money to make up. So
just let me come in. So a £5 million deficit, that needs to be explained. So councils up and down the country, nearly all of them have got deficits. Some are bigger than others, presumably. I think
there are far worse than that.
I read that Birmingham's is
real trouble. Thurrock, there's a lot. I mean, Thurrock's getting on for £1 billion.
But if ours is 5 million, it's still a lot of money.
Yes.
And so the council want people's views on, okay, so if you had the purse strings, where would you spend and where would you look to cut so you can balance the books? Is it
Yes.
as simple as that?
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much, you go onto it. The simulator, which, as I say, is on the council's website.
How much have we got? What are we looking to spend?
Yes. Well, you will see that when you load it up, if it ever loads up in front of me, you can go into it and you create the budget. So literally at the top, it says overspend £5.1 million. And you then go into the various sections and you slide left and right whether you would take away or add more, from everything from public health to children's services to community and safety to parks and leisure to social care. Now, of course, all of these are important, and I have seen comments on social media, and this is kind of fair when people say, well, why on earth is the council asking us to do this? It's their job to make these decisions. That's very true. And it is also true that this simulator, it will be assessed when it ends, when people stop looking at it and it stops being used. It will be assessed by the council, and it will inform decisions. It won't definitively say, well, we have to cut this, we have to cut that, based on what the public have said. And it's worth doing, and it's worth looking at how difficult a role it is for the council. We won't go into the background of why it is this much and what the decisions that have led to this, but it is very complex to make these decisions. And what we've been doing, or what the council has been doing, has been filming some of the directors to talk about what reducing funds in a particular department would mean and what adding more funds would mean. And it made me, I have to say, get a little bit emotional at one point, because I've been doing some of the filming. And I filmed John Gregg, who's the Executive Director of Children's Services at the council.
So you filmed him going through this simulator?
I filmed him talking about what a cut would mean to children's services and what additional funds would mean for children's services. So when you go on the site, all of these are there, and you can look at them all individually and say...
Which bit made you emotional?
At the time I recorded it, it was fine. But when he just mentioned that a cut would mean that children in care would be able to perhaps see their social workers fewer times. That actually got to me later on. Because that's the sort of decision that you never see very much on Facebook. What you see on Facebook is people complaining about litter and the environment and some of the bigger decisions the council makes. But those smaller things that it affect individual children, that when I was editing it later on, I had to stop for a little bit because it got to me. I mean, I have a child. Many of us have children.
You're making me well up.
I know. It
shows the huge amount of responsibility placed on the shoulders of the key decision makers.
Yes.
Yes, they put themselves up to make these decisions. No one forces them to stand. But when you're in that moment of literally, okay, I've got this budget. I've got an overspend, so I need to make savings. Where am I going to make my savings? Every single element, you would imagine, and certainly from the list you just gave a few minutes ago, they can all justify an increase in spending, and yet you're probably going to have to try and cut spending in some of them. So who are you going to disappoint?
And
I wouldn't want to do that job.
No, and it's the butterfly effect, isn't it? Where smaller decisions here lead to bigger issues down the line here. Let's say that we give a load more money to children's services. Well, where's that money going to come from? Let's take it away from parks, for example, and the economy, for example. Well, that leads to fewer people investing down the line, doesn't it? It means maybe fewer people will come into the city centre because of that. What does that mean? Well, that's less money going into our economy, and that's less money going, therefore, into traders and the retail aspect of the city, so they might close down. So then, you see all the decisions, don't you? You see how they affect different areas. And what I would do is encourage people to have a look at the simulator. Like I've said, peterborough.gov.uk/budget-simulator, but you'll find it anyway. It's on the front page. That'll be live until the end of October, and then cabinet members receive a report detailing many of the themes and comments, and they'll assess that in November. I just have a play with it, tinker, but really think about what you're doing and what it actually means, because it affects all of us.
Right, still to come, our guest. This week's guest is a conversation that John Baker has had with some pretty extraordinary people. People who are shining lights of what communities working together can achieve in our city. Give us a quick tease. Who have you interviewed for today's podcast?
Several people who are members of Woodston in Bloom. So it's a community group based in Woodston that have tidied up an area, Tower Street specifically. Looks amazing. I went to them to find out more about how they've done it and who's helped them as well.
Right, well, all of that still to come on this episode of the podcast. We'll come on and talk about Peterborough's representation on the Great British Bake Off in a few minutes. First, you wanted to talk about the Vines. What is the Vines, Mr. John Baker?
Mr. John Baker. As I've been driving my daughter to school, I've noticed that things have been going on at the Peacock, London Road. And people will know that pub very well, I'm sure. And the signs have changed slightly, it's been repainted. But what really grabbed me was there's a bus in the beer garden. I thought, what on earth's that doing there? Well, I believe it's going to be serving pizza, because I took a quick peek at it.
You just said the word queek.
Queek.
I did. You took a quick peek, came out as a took.
Oh, it's one of those dreadful words that I've just created.
A quick peek. Well, it's going to do pizza, is it? Okay.
It is going to do pizza. Sorry. The reason that it's now the Vines is that it's been taken over to become it's going to be a contemporary, family-friendly food and entertainment pub. So Joseph Vine is the new owner with his partner Jessica May, because they've been featured in the Peterborough Telegraph. As I say, I think it's the Vines at the Peacock now, and so one of the things they're going to be doing, obviously, is serving pizza in the beer garden. There's going to be lots of live music. There's going to be glow golf. They've got lots of live music, as I say, coming up, events and things. We mentioned pubs a few months ago in our podcast. We want good news about pubs. We're trying to push them, and it looks
pushing
really
pubs
nice.
to try and think differently, to try and do more than just serve beer and
exactly
hope that loads of customers flock in.
You'll notice anyone who's driven past there recently will also notice that one of the lanes is closed off because they're doing all this work around the frontage as well. Good luck to them, and I hope it really works out for them. It looks absolutely lovely what they've done there. So we'll hope.
Can you just remind our podcast listeners whereabouts this place is?
It's on London Road. It's on the corner near the KFC.
So not far from the football ground?
Opposite the football ground, virtually. Opposite the Quick Fit.
I know where you mean.
On the corner.
Okay. So
just as you go off towards the Hamptons.
It could become a place to go.
I hope so. I hope all of our pubs become a place to go. And I hope all of our sort of entertainment venues become somewhere to go. I was at Charters at the weekend. Brilliant as ever. Then on to Queen's Head, then on to Bombay Brasserie. Had a lovely evening with friends from Coventry who love Peterborough, love going to those places. I've been to all three on multiple occasions, and had a great day. It was weather like this.
Are we just shouting about some great places in Peterborough all of a sudden?
Well, there's three from
recently. I visited Middleton's Steakhouse.
Oh, no, now we're talking. I love steak,
and I like a bit of steak. And the manager there, Victor, I interviewed him for my PCR breakfast show in partnership with Peterborough Positive. And I think just getting out and about and chatting to the people that run these places and these restaurants and bars is a good thing for you and I to do as presenters on this podcast. As you're a journalist as well as being part of the council team. And I think it's about, I don't know, use it or lose it. Maybe
exactly
comes to mind.
And we've mentioned many others over the past few months. We mentioned Katana, Tap and Tandora dropped in not so long ago as well.
Are you getting a free lunch every time you mention the place?
No, I'm not. Although, look at me. I mean, really, this is why I'm doing the run. Because I'm
trying to lose some weight.
Just something. But
talking of eating, can I move on?
Then move me on.
Let's talk about Bake Off.
From a Great British Baker to the Great British Bake Off.
John Baker.
Thanks, Kev.
Do you think the Peterborough person on Bake Off could win? I'm kind of hoping. So it's just getting underway, the brand new series of the Great British Bake Off. And there is a local man involved. His name's Matty Edgell. He's going to be competing to become the country's star baker. So what do we know about Matty? He's one of the 12 lucky bakers. So I've just been doing a little bit of research, and he's from the Hampton area, near where I live. I think I'm right in saying he is a teacher at Hampton College. PE and science teacher at Hampton College. He's also a local football star. He plays for Stanground Sports in the Premier Division of the Peterborough League. So a decent footballer, good teacher, and apparently a good baker. And I've heard he's kind of kept this quite secret. He's not breathed a word to any of his football friends or any of his students at Hampton College. And so we wish him well. And I think putting yourself out there, getting onto a TV show like Bake Off, is, I think, a really brave thing to do. You are going to have the whole country judging how good you are in the kitchen. I personally get a little bit scared when my partner's judging something I've cooked for us to eat for dinner. So to kind of go on that show, it's a great show. I really like it. Paul Hollywood's brilliant. And I like all the judges. And I like the way this Bake Off show is presented. It's quite relaxing television to watch. And you see all these people in the kitchen doing their stuff and panicking over their soggy bottoms. I'm awaiting for you to interject now with some culinary puns, which I thought would just kind of slide their way in.
I'm trying to whisk the show on a little bit.
You're trying to whisk me on? Yeah.
No, it is. I think it's great. Good luck to him.
Good luck, Matty.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say, it's not an easy thing, isn't it? All the different tasks they have to do that are so varied and so difficult as well. You've got to be quite artistic. Obviously, you've got to get the timing right. I mean, I'm rubbish at baking. My wife's much better at that. I do the main meal, and she does the desserts in our relationship.
So she's better than you because desserts are harder or easier?
I don't know, but I mean, what we've done well. Peterborough's done well in reality TV before. Look at The Traitors, the lad who got to the final of that.
I didn't watch that.
You should have done. It's amazing.
If you think Peterborough reality TV stars, there's only one name that comes to mind, isn't there?
Tell me the name.
Aston.
Oh, yeah.
JLS.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the most famous person.
You know why I didn't say it? Because I've sort of, it's almost like he's moved on such a lot from that.
And it was a long time ago.
Yeah. And we've had, we've had a few others, haven't we? Yeah. I'm trying to say.
Are they going to roll off your tongue?
No, probably not. No. But look, we'll all be watching.
Joseph. And the couple of apprentice stars.
Yeah, Nuran, who used to work at Peterborough City Council as well. She was on The Apprentice. I mean, obviously Joseph won it, the whole thing, didn't he?
Just back to Matty on Bake Off. Look out for him. The interesting extra bit of information regarding Matty is that whenever his time's up in the tent, he will be facing his most challenging bake yet. Do you know what he's going to be creating?
I don't.
A wedding cake for his own wedding. His partner Laura, his fiancée Laura, has basically said, "I want a wedding cake, please, that you create." So he's got to make his own wedding cake.
That's terrifying. So he's got to do it in the few days before the wedding, presumably.
Yeah, presumably. So when he comes out of the tent, that will be, I guess. I mean, can you imagine if he came out of the tent as the winner? I mean, that's just amazing. But he's only got 1 in 12 chance of winning because there are 12 contestants.
Good maths.
Thank you. Yeah, good maths indeed. But yeah, look out for Matty from Hampton College, local footballer too, on the Bake Off. And let's hope that he rises to the challenge and he comes top and not soggy bottom.
Not soggy bottom, no.
Any more?
No, not really. We're just providing filling now, aren't we, for the show?
Oh, let's leave it on that high. Let's now hear from our guest. And this is an interview that John went out and did on his own. And in fact, just before we introduce it, we should say that you're going to do a few of these, and I might do a few of these, and we're going to kind of look to do a few spin-off podcast extras.
We've done it. Well, we have. Yeah, we are the Peterborough Podcast Extra. So if you want to listen to some of the ones we've done, I spoke.
We've only done one extra, haven't we?
No, I've done a few now.
Oh, only one that I knew of. Are you sneaking them out?
No. I did the Well Woman one, the event that's coming up very soon at Queensgate. That's worth a listen to, as well. We spoke to Dave Cramp. You spoke to Dave Cramp, and we changed that into a Peterborough Podcast Extra as well, about the tourism strategy for Peterborough.
That is well worth listening. That's worth listening
really
to
good.
More than the Well Women one. They're both worth listening to. But because I did the Dave Cramp one, I think it's slightly worth.
I think the Well Woman one was a really good piece of journalism, which
probably way down the line.
No, it's I will say as well.
Listen, let's get to the point. These extra podcasts, you can still listen to them via the same platform.
You can, and also with some of them as well. We're on YouTube as well. So if you search for Peterborough Podcast, you will find the Well Woman one was a video one as well. So I literally went and videoed them. So sometimes there'll be videos as well. Of course, on our YouTube, we provide clips of this great show as well. I'm literally filming me in my Illuminous yellow. Yellow, I was going to go yellow or green. Yellow and green.
Luminous, yellowy green,
Yes.
2017.
So if you want to
t-shirt.
see me in cinematic quality, you can do it on our YouTube channel.
Cinematic quality, John Baker.